Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Across the globe, it is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, yes, it still is, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Monday, May the 11th, in the year of our Lord 2015. Boy, I'm a month behind there. As we begin the week, the first full week of May, and the number that you can call this evening is 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. Had a wonderful weekend. Yes, the temperatures were high. It was very warm, low humidity. Well, I know some people they had higher humidities in their area, but not around here. It was yesterday. Sunday was extremely hot, I might add, and because it was hot, we had to deal with it being hot for the first time. Well, I guess it really wasn't the first time this year, but it was definitely warm. We loved it. At least I did. It was a beach day, beach weather kind of day. You go to the beach before the crowds start to hit from, because summer doesn't officially, as they always say, it's officially starts on Memorial Day at the end of May. And now this year Memorial Day is, I'm not sure, because. Well, I think it's the 25th of May because the way the weeks run, and it's usually on a Monday. So it's never in June. So, but see, that following Monday is going to be like, well, let me pull up a calendar here and say. Okay, so you have the last full week of May is May 24th through May 30th. Which makes that Sunday, May 31st, which makes Monday, June 1st. And I've never heard of Memorial Day being on June 1st. So I do believe that Memorial Day is rather early in the month this year on the 25th. Now, be that as it may, that means you got about, for all you people who have been trying to get in shape, you got about 2 weeks left to get yourself in shape to be ready for the beaches and whatnot. On Memorial Day, I did not see the Farmer's Almanac about the summer weather this year because they were kind of dead on about the winter. So I just thinking about it, I wonder what they might think of what their prediction for this summer is. Hopefully, it's going to be long and hot, like they were right about the winter being long and cold and rather snowy. I think they underestimated the snow there, but they were right about it. So hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll say something very nice and give us something very warm for the summer months. But in any case, we're going to begin the week off right here in the Bunkerized Home Studio. Got a lot to cover. Got a lot of stuff coming up this week. Now, you guys got to pay attention. You can't. I know summer's coming, but you can't fall off. You got to keep your eyes and ears open. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on out there right now that affects your freedom, and you need to pay attention to it, because as much as I'd love to be the guy that can bring you every single little last detail about what's out there that's affecting your freedom, what the government is trying to do to affect your freedom, one person can't do it. You've got to pay attention. You can't depend on somebody else to do it for you, because, look, we're going to miss something, especially seeing how this is such a very large country. And there's so much that could be going on in your neighborhood, and I'm not in your neighborhood. I'm probably nowhere near your neighborhood from, wherever you're listening. I mean, even if you're listening here in New Hampshire, neighborhoods in New Hampshire are quite different. We don't always know what's going on in somebody else's neighborhood. For instance, we had Chris Christie up here in New Hampshire, but he was over in Keene. Now, I don't know what is going on all of a sudden I find it kind of interesting that the American people do not consider global warming to be a big threat. In fact, if you look at the top 10 issues that Americans are concerned about or worried about, man-made global warming or climate change isn't in the top 10. It is not in the top 10. They're not. That's not something that we're paying attention to. It's not on our radar. There are too many other important things. But why is it that we constantly have this thing about global warming keep popping up? What is it that our leaders want to hide from us or wag the dog on us about? I mean, none of it really makes any sense. When you really think about, are we really do we really believe in global warming? And fewer people are beginning to believe in global warming. That's the whole point. So So we're having to deal with that. Excuse me there. A little bit of adjusting of the mic. I apologize. Sometimes that happens. It just sort of slips and slides, and you have to do your thing with it to adjust it. But here, Governor Christie is out there in Keene, New Hampshire, talking about that global warming is real. Look, Governor Christie, first of all, the vast majority of Americans really are not all that concerned about global warming, and a growing number of us don't believe it in any way. And not to mention that NASA has all of this satellite data, if you will, tomato, that shows that the planet has not warmed in the last 18 years. There has been no warming. In fact, there has been some cool... I watched a program about climate change over the weekend. And it really wasn't about climate change as it was about, global climate systems. And I watched another program that talked about end of the world prophecies. What does science say about the end of the world? And there were some end of the world scenarios that I was not familiar with before. And there were some, prophecies of the end of the world that I was familiar with, but I didn't know the full details behind them, such as the Viking end of the world Ragnarok. And basically, it was, they were talking about the earth, it was going to be a winter forever. That was going to be the end. There was going to be a period where the temperature dropped, and it was going to be winter for 3 years, and then all crops would die, and animals would die, and then people would start to die, and it'd be winter forever. That is what the Vikings were worried about or feared for the end of the world. Ragnarok, just a frozen state. In other words, another ice age. Now, obviously, this planet has seen a number, at least 3 ice ages in its history. That's what we know so far. So, therefore, we realize that this planet has a very dynamic, diverse, and extreme climate system. That it can swing, from being extremely warm, because it has been warmer in the past than it is now. So it can go from extremely warm to extremely cold, because it's also been colder, obviously, with having 3 ice ages, than it is now. So this whole notion that I can't believe I keep having to pound on this. Because I want you to understand, and I want you to start telling and pushing your leaders out there, especially those who are trying to run for president or think they're running for president, to stop obfuscating in trying to, wag the dog on other issues here. Because global warming is a red herring. I don't care if you think it exists or not. It's not something that's really important, especially seeing how you see some of these some of the scientific data from these people that do believe in global warming or tell you that global warming is real. And they tell you that even if we stop polluting, not another drop of pollution, not another molecule of gas gets spit into the air, not another ounce of fossil fuel is ever burned again, starting right now, today. That if we stop polluting 100% today, that it will not change the course of our climate for the next 100 years. It's not going to happen. Say, if the planet's going to warm up, and even if we do stop all the pollution, then it's gonna not matter for 100 years. No, in 100 years from now, it's still going to be whatever temperature that they said it was going to be. So if that's the case, then that kind of tells me that, we're not really into it. It's not really us then. Now, is it? I don't think so. I mean, it is kind of weird that this would happen now. I don't know why we're getting all of these, supposed conservatives running around. I mean, even the last time around, Mitt Romney was acknowledging that there was global. Look, there is no global warming. This is all about big government, folks. Plain and simple. Even you have these rhinos that are out there that like big government. They do. They like it. They want to keep it. If you have to have over-regulation, then over-regulation means you have to have a bigger department that deals with that particular regulation. You have to have more people. You have to have more legal personnel that will enforce that regulation. So this is all about bigger government. It's about nothing else. I don't care if it is, Mr. Christie out there. Oh, Chris Christie, he's okay guy. He's a Republican. I'd vote for him. Yeah, I can see that. Especially over Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I'd vote for Chris Christie over Hillary Clinton any day. Absolutely. But would he be a good nominee for the Republicans, for the Republican Party and the conservatives? I don't think so. I do not think so. Because he's too much of a rhino. Republican in name only. For those of you who want to know what that is. Why does everybody keep saying rhino, Rod? I mean, rhino is R-H-I-N-O. No, rhino, R-I-N-O, no H. Republican in name only. In other words, there's a bunch of a bunch of wannabes out there, liberal Republicans, if you will. A bunch of liberal Republicans. And they don't have a love for smaller government. Not at all. So don't even think that they might, because they don't. And they're not going to change their whims or their beliefs or trade in their power to save your freedom. That's not what they're all about. Now, I know that there are a lot of people out there that like Chris Christie, and there are some things that Chris Christie has. There are some things that Chris Christie has that, or believes in that are not Republican, that are not conservative leaning. There are quite a few things that Chris Christie believes in that are not conservative leaning. Plain and simple. So is he the gentleman that I would be? Now I know there are probably some Chris Christie advocates out there who are following the sound of my voice, and they're thinking, well, Rod Christie, he's got it going on. He could do it. They're like, no, not going to buy it. I'm sorry, can't deal with. He's not my first choice. He's not my second choice. I'd probably choose him over Jeb Bush, but other than that, no. I believe him more to be a rhino than a Republican, a true Republican, for a number of different reasons. And this whole thing on global warming being caused by man is just one of those things. Plain and simple. And so I know he was here. I did not see him in person over there in Keene, but why not have him in Keene with Keene State College and everything? There you go. So Christie was over there giving a speech over in New Hampshire, Keene, New Hampshire, because, it's one of those places where people go, where the news goes to during the primary and see what people are voting on and what people have said and things like that for primary votes to see if they can predict who the winner is or who New Hampshire is going to go for. Somebody brought something up to me earlier today. Switching subjects for a little bit here. Somebody brought something up to me today about gays, and they were combining it with the Draw Muhammad cartoon contest by Miss Geller down in Texas. I'm thinking, okay, well, what you got? What you got for me? Because people they tell me all kinds of stuff, so I'm just like, okay, what you got? What you got? You got to tell me something here. Wasted my time already. I'm looking at my watch, and I don't even have a watch on. Got to tell me something. Got to give me something, man. Give it up. Give it up. So after he finally quit laughing, he said, I have this idea. He said, what liberals don't understand, because everybody's all out there trying to stand against Geller for having this anti-Muslim cartoon contest. He said, no. What if we looked at it this way? And Christian business owners should pay attention to this then, because he says, Christian business owners are being targeted left and right when they don't want to serve gays for anything. So he's like, well, what if we did this? Seeing how the left doesn't think that we should be mocking the Prophet Muhammad in caricature or in cartoons because it offends Islamists. So now, wouldn't it be logical to not want to, if you didn't want to offend Muslims over drawing the picture of Muhammad, then why would you do anything else or allow anything else that might offend your sense of religion? And I said, now that's a thought, but where are you going with this? He's like, well, what if a Christian business owner says that they can't support a gay wedding simply because by doing so, that's going to upset and insult Islamists? And I thought for a second there, and I'm thinking, oh, he might be onto something here. Yeah, believe it or not, I do not come up with every single brilliant idea out there. Other people do have brilliant ideas. I have to admit, I don't come up with them. Every single brilliant idea on this program, I didn't come up with them all. I know it's a shock to you, but I have to be honest about it. So I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's got some merit to it. So what if a Christian baker decided next time, well, I'm not going to bake a cake for your gay wedding, because if I do, it would offend and insult Muslims. Now, since we already know that you're not supposed to offend a Muslim now, it's okay, because that would be fine. If you don't, it's okay if you do not offend gays, right? Or Muslims. You're not supposed to offend them at all. Obviously, that's what the left is telling us. It's okay to offend the Christian, but not the Muslim and not the gay people. Okay, so what happens if the gay people offend the Muslims? I'm just asking a question. What happens if now understand that Muslims, real true radical Islamists, they say that our very existence of the infidel offends them. So is it not true that gays are also infidels? Yeah, they are, according to Muhammad, which means, you don't get to... How can you... well, then you don't have to support the gays then, because it's going to affect and offend Muslims, plain and simple. It's a beautiful thing. Christians should have thought of that before. This guy came up with a beautiful, comeback to all the stuff that's going on out there against us, against Christians. All you got to do, and this could apply to just about anything, because indeed there's a lot of stuff out there that evidently offends Muslims. So basically, all you have to do is just say, look, I am a true Christian business owner. However, I cannot support your particular festivities or version of happiness, whatever it may be. And it isn't due to the fact that I personally do or do not support your such said activity of yours. No. I'm selfless in that manner. Because, you see, I don't want to be the one that causes another shootout somewhere. I cannot support you because I don't want to offend Muslims. And I don't want them coming here shooting up your party simply because I did something or said something on your cake that would offend them. So I don't want to offend Muslims. Plain and simple. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. That would work.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Eccles Show.
603-835-3224. As we roll along into the second segment. Now, here's a story I think I brought to you last week. It was about the family that, well, there's a family, just a second, I will get to that. There's some other things that I need to get. One of the things that I'm having issues with, that I absolutely hate, and that's with a lot of you websites out there. I don't know why you've switched to this method, but it's a pain in the butt. It takes longer to load up, even when you've got a newer computer. You've got this idea that, we'll just throw ads up there. This is why people are putting up ad blocker, because they're tired of this stuff popping up in front of their screen when they're trying to read or watch something. And you have it timed so that it is very annoying. Now, I got to tell you, as being in the marketing industry and being a marketing person, an advertising person, do not fall for this notion that the reason that they're doing this still is because it works. Actually, those pop-up ads, especially the ones that happen like 30 to 40 seconds after the page stops loading and you think you're done and you start scrolling and all of a sudden it locks up the screen, or at least that page, until you do something with that ad that just popped up. People get pissed off about that. And the lie about this thing is, now pay attention to me. The lie is that, well, people click on them, so they work. And the point is these things do have a fairly high click-through rate. Well, the problem is that people want to get rid of them. So, they have these really, really, really tiny close or delete boxes. It's a little X in a corner somewhere, and they're usually very tiny. And a lot of times people, they're not right dead on because they're rushing through it because they want to get back to what they were just started watching or reading. And so they miss the little tiny close box, and it ends up going to the advertiser's page. And they say, well, see, it's working. We're, getting it. No, it's not. Because the whole point is that click-through rates are a bunch of BS. And this is what Facebook does to people. This is what a lot of these marketers do to people. They talk about this click-through rate. Well, the click-through rate is a bunch of BS. What counts is, do people want to go to your site? Do they want to learn more about your ad? And from there, will they be converted? Now, if you're talking about a click-through rate and then you start looking at conversion rates from these types of ads, you'll see that conversion rate versus click-through rate is extremely low, lower than average. Why? Because the click-through rate doesn't mean anything, because most people who click on this stupid ad, they don't want to go to it. Now, the other thing that I have a problem with, quite frankly, is when it comes to these pages and networks, and a lot of your news pages are like this now. It really ticks me off. Look, if I want to watch video, I will press play. Do not load up or try to jam up somebody's computer. Now, because me, especially, I'm a multitasker. Now, unless you have some ultimate wicked fast a gaming computer with a dual video drives and the like, when you're heading over to things like Fox or MSNBC or even some of the other places like USA Today or Washington Times or Washington Post, a lot of times what they will do is they will everything is set to it's set to automatically play. So that means that as soon as you go to the page that you want to go to, there's a video there. That video is going to try to load up. Well, it's not like going to YouTube. because there is so much other stuff on that page. There's a ton of other stuff there. And what happens, it really bogs down. And if you have an older computer, and which I do, I have an older machine, and along with a newer machine, and it's going to bog down your old machine. It is, and oftentimes it will lock it up or freeze it up. Simply because it's trying to load that video because it's an automatic play without your permission. No, look, I'm not down with it. I hate that. And they've got it so configured that a lot of times people will say, well, you know what? I'll just click the stop loading X, on the up in the bar, the navigation bar. No. That doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore, folks. You can click that stop, freeze the loading of the page, and that used to work. It doesn't work anymore. The page will still load fully. And this is another thing that people just don't realize. And this is now, why am I bringing this up? You're like, well, what that? This is all stuff that's your choice. You don't have to go to that website, Rod. You don't have to go to that website. You can sit through them loading it up if you want to. It doesn't have to be instantaneous. Geez, come on, be a little bit more patient. The point is that you're trying to get something that you want, and you can't get to it without being interfered with. You're being offered one thing. And then before you know it, all this other stuff is thrown in on that, even though you don't want it. You want to go to this particular page to, Timbuktu page, Timbuktu.com, because you want to read a story about Timbuktu. But as soon as you get to Timbuktu, you type in Timbuktu.com and you get on Timbuktu.com /home, well, up in the one corner pops, Ellen DeGeneres looking all sad and mad because, people found out that her secret Avon, whatever makeup she uses, secret. It's out now. And then up, and you start to read the Timbuktu, story on Timbuktu.com, and 30 seconds later, another ad that causes the page that you're looking at to go foggy, so you really can't see it. And in the middle of this fog is a nice bright new ad. You have no, because it's interest on now you're reading about Timbuktu, but it's a ad to give you a discount to go swim with the penguins in Antarctica. Well, you're interested in Timbuktu. Well, here's this thing for, swimming with the penguins in Antarctica. And in order for you to get back to your story on Timbuktu at Timbuktu.com, you've got to press this little itty tiny bitty X that you assume is the close button. So you quickly, because you're up, you're a little bit frustrated and annoyed that you just had your experience interrupted. So you quickly take the mouse and take the cursor and go up to where you think the X is, and you click the X, but you missed the X. You didn't fully hit the X. It's so damn tiny. Next thing you know, your entire experience is being interrupted because now your computer's opening a new page, giving you all the lavish wonders and information that you never wanted to know about swimming with the penguins in Antarctica. And you find not only that, but now you find out that not only do you not get the Timbuktu article, because now you're over on the Antarctica page website, and you're looking at something stupid that you do not want. But it's also now it's telling you, oh yeah, by the way, this discount to go swim with the penguins in Antarctica, oh, that's in January only. So it's kind of like Obamacare. It sounds good. This Timbuktu article sounded good. Obamacare sounds good. And then you get over to Obamacare and you get all signed up and then bam. Oh, by the way, your new plan, it's not like your old plan. It doesn't cover the same thing. Just thought you'd like to know. And by the way, Yeah, your deductible, in your old plan it was $2,000, now it's $6,000. Just thought you'd like to know. Kind of like, the discount is only good to swim with the penguins is only good in January. I got some of you, though. Do you know Antarctica, January is in the summer? It is, but there you go. But this is the kind of stuff that you're constantly getting with government. And it's kind of catching up to us in the private sector. But the point is that many of us will get highly irritated if this kind of thing happens in the private sector, where we have a better chance of getting what we want. Anyway. But now then it happens in the public sector or in government, and we don't seem to want to cry too much about it. Oh, no. I mean, it's okay. Well, let me give you an example. And I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I can't help that because this has got to be the dumbest thing. There was an article the other day I saw over the weekend that talked about the most cheatinest. I think it was on Facebook. It was a Facebook meme talking about the cheatinest teams in the NFL. You know, the Patriots were like towards the bottom as far as the teams, number of cheats that they got caught at or were suspected of. I didn't read the whole article. I just looked at the list, and the Patriots were down low. And I should have read it. I should have read the article because it had the Pittsburgh Steelers as being the second most cheating team in the NFL. I'm thinking, well, if they cheated so much, why don't they win more often? And why don't they get penalized more often? Because they're not one of the most penalized teams in the league. But when they're playing a game, they don't get as many penalties. And they obviously have not been winning very much over the Patriot dominated decade. So yeah, they've won a few times, but nowhere near the Patriots. So maybe that's why I dismissed the article, but at the same time, worried about Tom. Now, Tom Brady is being suspended for four games. I mean, this is really a minor infraction. The NFL, arguably the NFL's biggest star, active star, they just suspended for 4 games. Now let me put it to you this way. And they're finding the Patriots themselves $1 million. So Brady's suspended for 4 games. The Pats are fined $1 million. Players, celebrities react to Pat's punishment. Alabama House passes the Tim Tebow Act. I don't know what that's all about. But so Brady gets suspended for the first 4 games of the new season. Now, you have to understand something. Brady isn't going to allow this to affect his legacy. He will probably play. He will probably come back after the 4-game suspension. He will probably play out this season, no matter where the Pats end up in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, or not. I bet you this will be Brady's last season. Because why? Look, the guy's got everything. And he's what, 38, 39 years old? Why does he have to keep doing this? Why? He's already got, the mansion, the huge mansion, 2 beautiful kids, a beautiful supermodel wife who herself just retired from the runway. So there are some signs there that the Bradys are ready to move into a more private, more normalized type of lifestyle. He doesn't need football anymore. He doesn't need it. So yes, he's still competitive. Yeah, maybe he did know something about but we're talking, this doesn't matter. People were getting so upset over this. This does not matter. And I cannot believe that I get this, daily, and I'm out there during the day and working. Well, Rod, what do you think about this? I'm like, why are you asking me this? And I cannot get away from it. Look, folks, the NFL is overreacting. Let me put it to you bluntly and plainly. 4-game suspension, $1 million fine. The NFL is way overreacting on this. Way overreacting. I mean, we've had far more serious rules broken by individuals and teams in the past, and the punishment was nowhere near this. I mean, they were just, not to mention, this could have been prevented before it even started, or even as it started. And the NFL didn't see the need to try to stop it. I'm sorry, this is kind of like a setup. This is why I think Brady is just about done. Because, look, I mean, as far as teams go in the NFL, sure, ordinary people like you and I, the spectators who sit, the fans, you got to love Brady. I mean, there are people that love to hate him because, he's so good and he's been winning so much. So, yeah, naturally, and their QBs aren't winning. So, naturally, you're going to hate him for that, and it wouldn't matter who it is. But I think it's just pure jealousy from people that the New England Patriots have this guy, and that he is so good. He's probably one of the top 5 QBs to play this game ever. Maybe he's not finesse. He doesn't have a lot of grace and finesse on the field. So that doesn't mean he's not good. Yeah, I know he's slow. He's kind of lumbering. He doesn't have moves. Although I think the older he's gotten, the more nimble he's gotten, actually. He moves a lot better now than he did when he was in his 20s. Be that as it may, it's I don't know. Maybe it's just, I guess because he's got it all. He's got the pro sports career. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. If you pay attention to all the women, and speaking of gays, and all the gays out there, yeah, they adore this guy, his looks. I mean, when Tom Brady had the long hair a few years ago, it was like, ooh, look at Tom. How long is Tom's hair now? I mean, everybody was just even people in football, the pro, the watching ESPN or something, they were focusing on Tom Brady's hair. I mean, are you kidding me? So it's look, they have built up this guy. Now, all you want to do is play football. The sports media has built up Tom Brady, built him up to superstar status. Because you don't see, let's face it, there aren't other QBs out there that are getting the kind of press that Tom Brady is, and I'm talking about the positive side. Has nothing to do with Deflategate right now. But they're making a story out of this, a big, huge story that now that the NFL feels like it has to, in order to protect the integrity of the game, they have to overstep and overpunish in order to bring people back into the fold, and it's nothing but adding more drama. Because now what happens? The Pats win 3 of their first 4 games without Brady. Or maybe they lose all 4, drop all 4, but Brady comes back and boom, they win the in the next 12. Are they still playing 16 games or is it 18 regular season games? Anyway, they win the rest of the season. And they make it to the playoffs, and they win the playoffs, and they get into the Super Bowl, and God forbid they win again. And everybody's going to wonder, well, how did that happen? Because he was out the first 4 games. But in the meantime, we have a president who can't handle the world on fire in the Middle East. We have a Democratic candidate who's a known liar. She's a suspected lawbreaker. A high crime and misdemeanors. And one of her cohorts is a communist, and he's entering the presidential race. And they all want to do stuff to us, not for us, but to us. And yet we're more concerned about Tom Brady. That guy's going to be fine no matter what. He's always going to be Tom Brady. He's always going to have that legendary football career. Yeah, he's always going to have, I'm going to assume he's a rather smart businessman. He's always going to have money. Him and his wife will always have money. They're a beautiful pair, a beautiful couple. They're always going to be on top of the world. So you have to ask for something that is fleeting. Because does it matter that they won the Super Bowl this year? No, because in August, the trek for the new Super Bowl comes. And yeah, they go down in history as being a Super Bowl winner. Big deal. However, somebody being elected to high office obviously can affect our everyday life. Hello, Obama and Obamacare? Now, there would be no Obamacare if we did not elect Obama the first time. There would not be Obamacare at all. But we think, I guess that was important, though. Or excuse me, I guess that wasn't important. It was more important to worry about who was going to go to the Super Bowl that year. Was it going to be the Patriots? Were they going to win? Was Tom going to cheat? But now we got Obamacare and hardly anybody likes it. And we're wondering, well, how did we get it? Well, you elected Obama, you fool. Because you thought that was more important than doing something real. And now we're being distracted again by a number of different things. And now, but this Brady thing is the same. I mean, really, why is this being blown up? Why do people even care that much? I mean, I listen to people call into Hannity and call into Rush Limbaugh and call into Mark Levin, and people are just and call in to the early morning shows on the radio. The early morning drive shows. I mean, like the Kane show and the Kid Craddock show and a bunch of others. And people are they're livid. I'm like, really? You guys are going to spend this much time being annoyed with Tom, which isn't going to affect you one way or the other. Tom Brady, whether he plays or not, is not going to affect you at all. It's not going to affect me either. It's not going to affect either one of us. The only people it is going to affect are the people that play on the Patriots and Brady himself. That's it. Not going to affect you or me at all. Well, we live for this stuff, Rod. It's going to be sad. Well, yeah, you'll get over your sadness, I hope. Because it really doesn't mean anything in the greater scheme of things. But, what's more important is making sure that you get elect the right president, the right senator, the right House of Representatives, the right legislature, in your state government, the right governor. All of that is more important. The right mayor, as we see here there in Baltimore. All of that is vastly far more important than worrying about if Tom Brady is being punished at all or enough for possibly knowing something about balls being slightly underinflated. Really.